Next up, we're going to figure out what type of experiment this is. So this lives in a couple different places. At the intro to the methods section here, it says this, using a between subjects experimental design, and there is an annotation on that if you need a reminder on that. The present study examined 8 to 13-year-olds' assessment of selling an informative intent of unboxing videos with different sponsorship cues, 3 different levels, based on schema theory. Statements regarding sponsorship, blah, 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 blah. It also tests the training video. So I'm going to go way back up all the way to the abstract where it told us what kind of experiment it is. It says using a 3 sponsored, non-sponsored sponsorship unaddressed cue by 2 advertising training, no advertising training, randomized experimental design. So we know that this is an experimental, factorial experimental design. But I also want to show you where that lives as we get down into the methods section too. So after they talked about the sample, they go into the stimuli. So this is saying what specifically was manipulated. So the 3 part of the factorial, they say 3 versions of the unboxing video were created for research. Each video is 3 minutes long. They have a 12-year-old male actor who's showing a water flosser. Okay. So then they go into the details about how the videos are different. The non-sponsored video. He says that this video is for a school project. He's doing a report on teeth. Sponsored video. He's like, Jack here, back with another review. My friends at whatever company say they sent me this water flosser to try out. So disclosing the sponsorship. And then sponsorship unaddressed cues. The 3rd video is vague about the purpose. He doesn't say there's a school report. He doesn't disclose that he got it from the company. He said, I saw the product at my friend's house, so I'd try it out. I got the product in the mail last week, and it's available at my source for $36. So those are the 3 different levels. Now remember, in an experiment, everything else they are trying to keep as similar as possible, right? Because you don't want to be able to just, what if like the actor was different, or he seemed much more excited in one video than the other? We don't want to be able to attribute the differences to anything except the manipulation. Okay, so they're talking about how it was edited, and then they talk about our second thing, right? Because that was the 3 levels, now we need the 2. In addition, a 90-second animated advertising training video was created. They created this video, it had a voiceover commentary. They have pictures in here, you can see. They explain that some YouTube videos are intended to sell products, and they kind of give like this little training, right? So all that's in there. Half the child participants viewed the 90-second advertising training video before seeing their assigned video, etc. So that's 3 by 2 factorial. So when we're trying to figure out what type of study something is, I just want to remind you that there's an infographic that can help walk you through this. One of the first step is how many things are you testing? In this case, there's 2 independent variables, the sponsorship cue with 3 levels and training video with 2 levels. So it's factorial. Step 2, how are participants placed into groups? We know because we have already looked at this, but in case you're looking at these out of order, that they were randomly assigned to one of the conditions. So random assignment matters, right? So we know it's not a quasi experiment. So that matters. Step 3, we ask, when do you measure? So in this particular case, they explained it right here. After viewing these videos, they answered a series of post-test questions. So in this case, this is a post-test only assignment. There was no pre-test before the video. So they did say they answered pre-test questions regarding their age and gender. That doesn't count. It has to be the exact same measure or something very close to it for the pre and post test. And similarly, their parent answering some questions doesn't count as a pre-test either. Okay, so we say that in fact, this is a post-test only. Okay, so they can't measure change over time. Step 4, where does it happen? This is online. There's no lab. So because it's online, they actually talk about this in the limitations section, that it's not in a lab. They're not controlling the rest of the environment. Some of these kids did this on a phone. Some of them did it on a computer. Some of them did it on a big screen or a small screen. Maybe their sibling was screaming in the back. They mentioned this, but at the same time, you could argue that because this is done where kids actually exist and not in like an artificial setting of a lab, that's better for external validity, right? Then step 5, who experiences what? Every kid saw only one combination of sponsorship cues and training videos. It's between subjects experiment, which they actually mentioned right here, between subjects. So they didn't get the different conditions. If the same kid had seen all 6 conditions, it would be within subjects. So when we put all these steps together, it's a 3x2 factorial, true, post-test only, online between subjects experiment. So be ready to be able to explain that and using those 5 steps when you're looking at a different experiment.